once again at that point in time where we've experienced the highs and lows of the last Halo title.
Mostly lows.
And now we look forward to the future of what Halo has to offer. What will the next Halo game look like? The last Halo game we've gotten was Halo Infinite, which is live service and came out 3 years ago. And if you didn't know, this is troublesome to anyone who just wants a new Halo game. This is because of a plethora of reasons, but essentially, once a franchise goes live service, you shouldn't expect a new entry for a very, very long time. Ooh, hello.
Suicide.
The next game is probably not going to be a traditional FPS Halo game. The way live service games go, they eventually end up just having so much content over the years that it basically becomes financially unrealistic to just start again and create yet another traditional Halo game from scratch. So I expect that the next Halo game is not going to have the features you generally expect from them.
Halo Infinite, for all intents and purposes, whether we like it or not, seems like it might be the last real traditional feature Halo game that we expect from the series. I don't think it's going to be a Halo game where you boot the game up and it has a new campaign, a new multiplayer with playlist and events, a new firefight experience, a more expansive accessible forge, custom games, etc.
It's not going to be another game promising you features from previous Halo games that you expect. This frame of design just wouldn't work on a continuous game basis, and it's the reason Infinite is still trying to be the definitive Halo experience, even if it failed. Essentially, they're expecting Halo Infinite to be the Halo catch-all multiplayer game. You play the new Halo game, whatever unique and brand new experience that it'll be. Huh?
But ultimately, it's going to want you back on Infinite, buying those zany cosmetics for however much jellybean coin currency they want from you.
Thinking that the next Halo game is going to be a traditional one, I think is setting yourself up for disappointment. It's going to be something completely different, I think. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I know with the way these products go, it's not going to be the same thing that we're used to.
Halo's gameplay has always been about micro experiences. You always want to win, but the fun you have in Halo are the small moments like stealing the flag, or picking up a power weapon, or getting in the Wraith and wrecking Carnage. It's far less about the macro experiences, like winning or trying to increase your elo or whatever.
It's why I think Halo isn't very popular when it comes to watching live outside of esports.
And personally, I think that's why Halo needs to get away from the expected 4v4 arena shooter. It's probably the reason I enjoy BTB far more, and why others still harken back to Invasion and Warzone. You get the same general experience with more of the moments which make the game fun to play, while not having to start a match and fight for 10 minutes, and move on to the next match in this repetitive cycle that gets boring quick.
People want to progress in a more long-term, meaningful way, and a battle pass where you unlock emblems and the color purple ain't it, Chief. But what will the next Halo game actually be? Well, there are quite a few places it can turn to.
It's quite possible that the next game could very well be a story-driven game that is entirely single-player. 343 have been essentially gaslit when it comes to Master Chief. Halo 4 focused on Crybaby Chief, which people didn't like. Then they made Halo 5, which focused on Locke, and people hated it because Chief wasn't in it. So now they're back to fetishizing Master Chief, with his ever-presence in Infinite now.
Sorry.
But Halo has shown that the universe can absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, create awesome stories that arguably hold up better than the trilogy story.
ODST, Reach, and Wars are all fantastic games in their own right, and it speaks volumes to how rich the Halo universe really is, and why it just doesn't need to focus on the green guy. People forget Chief really was just a vessel for the player. 1 to 3 didn't focus on Chief, it focused on the Covenant War, Earth, the Ark, and the Flood Infestation.
So I can definitely see a future Halo game actually be single player focused, while not being the ultra, min-max, grindy, battle pass, Fortnite dance multiplayer game that some people might expect.
It would be really great to see a genuine Halo campaign fully fleshed out and be the primary focus instead of being just another piece of the cake as it is with every release bar ODST to an extent. Or if you wanted to push the story of Infinite forward, continue the exploration of Zeta Halo on all of its mysteries that exist on the installation. Mendicant Bias, the Banished, the Endless, the Flood, advanced foreigner structures everywhere. You could set a trilogy of Halo games on there alone. All of these exist on Installation 07, and despite Infinite's boring ass Pine Forest biome, the installation has an infinitely, creatively wide array of biomes that they can make alongside stories to tell. The next Halo game could even focus on the whole extraction experience, kind of like Helldivers 2. Halo has experimented with PvE ever since ODST with Firefight, but it's always been a side course meal to the main game subsequently after ODST. I don't see why, alongside possibly having an exclusively PvP Halo game, you couldn't also have a primarily PvE Halo game, creating a true cooperative experience.
I don't really need to explain or describe to you what that'd look like. Helldivers 2 footage exists, just be that.
Something Helldivers doesn't do to its fullest degree is its story. I can already imagine the weekly MO updates about what the Covenant have destroyed or how the Silent Shadow have wiped out an entire encampment, and it's your job as Spartans or ODST to wipe them out. You could even have early 1 to 5 difficulties be playable Marines working as a team with that lower health and no shields, difficulties from 6 to 10 being ODSTs and thinking about going in at night, being stealthy using SOCOMs to clean up patrols, extracting important data, and the hardest difficulties being dropped in as Spartans fighting insane numbers of Covenant.
Just thinking about what you could do with Halo in a PvE environment is insane and has endless possibilities. And so much room for continued support years down the line with all the lore. PvE has kind of been blowing up with games like Helldivers, Space Marine 2, Darktide, and Halo could easily take a shot at it with its own game. Or maybe expanding on why people enjoyed modes like Invasion from Halo Reach and focus on multiplayer.
Maybe a primarily PvPvE mode like Warzone, and have the game focus on that in its entirety, with Arena as a side experience as opposed to being the primary core game mode as it's usually been. As I mentioned earlier, Halo, its world and its gameplay could very much benefit from giving players experiences that expand beyond traditional Arena Slayer. Invasion was fundamentally unbalanced, but if you built on that linear attack-defense game mode, making matches more longer lasting and actually fleshing it out as an entire game in and of itself, it could be amazing.
In regards to PvP, I think we're really only going to get one new PvP game.
The reason games like Halo 3 or Halo Reach I think had a very strong population count years on was because you didn't just boot up Halo and jump straight into Arena to get wrecked. You launched the game and you thought to yourself, I think I'm going to go for the weekly lasso challenge in the Reach campaign. Or you saw you had a firefight challenge to kill 100 grunts, so you searched firefight matchmaking. Or you had a multiplayer challenge to get 200 kills and you were ready to just grind BTB or Invasion. Or you just wanted to mess around in Forge with some friends. Or if you were lucky, you'd get an invite to play some creative custom games.
It's pretty evident why Halo doesn't stay relevant for very long. Most people want to treat Halo like a social hub, how it used to be in 3, Reach, and even 4, which Xbox Live at the time really helped with.
But from how 343 releases games now alongside that social ecosystem, kind of just crumbled with the Xbox One. It's just hard to treat it as that. This was most evident when MCC came to PC. It had Halo Reach and only Halo Reach. No campaign, multiplayer or firefight challenges, Forge wasn't available, Theater wasn't available, no file browser, no campaign matchmaking.
Remember that feature? If Reach launched like that in 2010, the game would have died in a month.
Overall, the experience was basically boot up the game to play 4v4 or BTB, and that's it. And I think that was a punch to the gut to anyone playing MCC on PC for the first time, expecting the original Halo Reach experience. The whole thing from top to bottom was gutted entirely, and I haven't even mentioned other social features like matchmaking preferences or seeing other people's Spartans in the menu. In fact, I think Halo Infinite had the exact same issues. People don't want to just jump into Arena and play endless Spartan versus Spartan matches, or at the very least have a wide array of things to do.
So that's my idea for what could possibly be the next Halo game, if it isn't that terrible Battle Royale or the CE remake we've been hearing about. Games like Infinite clearly suffered from a ton of issues, and I imagine one of them was scope, which really shows. Anyway, thanks for watching. Oh look, they're called Halo Studios now.